is Joel Guzman, and yeah, I'm a fighter, barber, uh, just a family man. You know what I'm saying? A father, and yeah, from Fort Worth, Texas.
Where can they find you at?
Yeah, my Instagram is at Let's Go Chapo, and Facebook Joel Guzman.
So, man, Goose, let's talk about life growing up.
Yes.
Like a lot of people, especially when you started fighting, they get introduced to you present day.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to introduce them to you past day.
Yes.
How were you growing up? How was life growing up?
I mean, it was good. You know, I was raised by a single mother, older brother. You know, he's 7 years older, and he introduced me to the fight game quick. You know, at a young age, I was boxing and boxing the neighborhood kids, doing stuff like that. We just grew up rough, rowdy. You know what I'm saying? Like wrestling, doing all that crap, and fell in love with it. Been in love with it my whole life. You know, so yeah, I grew up.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up. I was born in Fort Worth, and then we moved to Weatherford. Well, we lived out here till I was like 3 or 4. Moved to Weatherford. Closer to my grandmother, which is my mom's mom. And yeah, it was basically out there through high school, and then moved to El Paso, joined the Army, came back to Fort Worth, been out here for like 12, 13 years now.
So wait, you said you went out to El Paso and you ended up joining the military.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the thought process going into that.
Oh man, it was horrible. I was 17, you know. I was already working a full-time job in a machine shop, you know, and I was making more money than kids my age, but at the same time, I knew I didn't want to do that shit. Like, I knew I couldn't show up and do this, push a button, and run the machine all day for 10 hours, you know. I was going to school and then doing that at night. And, you know, went and talked to some recruiters, me and one of my homies. They talking about, yeah, you can get a $20,000 bonus, this and that. And so, of course, you know, I see that money, I'm like, oh, and then they showing you, like, you're going to do this, you're going to do all this, like, cool stuff. And you do some of it, like in basic training, there is some cool stuff. But it's not like what they paint the picture to be.
You know what's crazy? Me knowing you and your personality and some of the basic training stuff and I think that was it PT, something they call PT. Some of that stuff I feel like I think you would enjoy because of your natural personality.
Yeah.
What did you and did you not enjoy about that process of joining the military?
I mean, I enjoyed that stuff for sure, doing all the climbing up walls and long hikes and all that. I love that shit. I've been doing that my whole life. So that was cool, but, you know, once I got into what they call the regular army, the real army, after you get through all your training, all that, you get assigned to a base. And once I got over there and started like learning how the military work, like anything else, they click up, there's groups, they in charge, like, and if you are doing what they want you to do, they're gonna help you get up in them, like into their rankings. But if you know, for whatever reason, if y'all don't get along, if y'all bump heads, now they gonna try to keep you down. It's like anything in life, and if you ain't fitting with that clique, then they ain't never gonna let you like move up in the rankings. You're just gonna have to sit there and do what they say. That was the worst. That was like, you know me, I got a problem with authority. So whenever these cats, we out here, they got sergeants, we playing a soccer game. And the dude getting mad because he getting beat in soccer, so he wanna try to smoke me, you know what I'm saying? They call it smoke, like make you do push-ups on the soccer field, bro. And I would get in trouble because I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, nah, bro, we playing soccer. Like, you can't drop me. And I get in trouble for that shit. So, in a sense, I learned at a young age, like, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. If you don't know the right people in that, they gonna ruin it for you, like, for real.
So that goes back to what I asked you before about your upbringing. You said you have a problem with authority. That was just funny. Like, was you like that with mom and pops? Like, you always was like that?
Yeah, man. Like, at first I would do it where they didn't know, but then it got to the point where it was like they was just catching me and I was still just doing it. Like, it wasn't nothing against what the parents were saying. I was just that kid that you couldn't tell me the stove was hot. I had to touch it and get burned every time, and I still touch it. Like, I don't know what it is. That's just kind of been my personality my whole life.
So you learned the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
So what was the benefits and what's to your detriment in that? Because a lot of kids do the same thing.
It's the benefits of it is it's going to make you tougher because you're going to have to go through a lot of bull crap. And if you want to be a hard head, you're going to have to go through that. And yeah, so I would say it made me tougher, but at the same time, no, I wish I wouldn't have went like that. I wish I would have been smarter. I think at older age now, I'm like, all right, slow down, like think about it. Because before, yeah, I wasn't thinking. I was just reacting.
So what would you say coming up was your biggest challenge and with your experience from the military, going through high school, middle school, elementary, just like you said, you kind of came up rebellious in a way. What was your biggest challenge and what do you think developed you the most?
I think I had a lot of big challenges, like as far as even coming up, never knowing my real father, never seeing him or nothing. I think that automatically kind of puts a chip on a kid's shoulder that I didn't even know I had till way later on in life. I'm seeing that now. You know what I'm saying? That it affected me in ways where I would say, oh, no, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about it. But, yeah, being around my friends and they around their dads and shit and they all learning and shit, that did make me grow with a chip on my shoulder. And it made me, like, resent men trying to, like, tell me what to do. I'm like, man, fuck these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had to learn the hard way.
Did you, because I didn't even know about your father, did you resent him?
I mean, yeah, I feel like he could have reached out in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? He was straight from Mexico. He wasn't trying to go through the process of child support and all that. And I know my mom tried to put him on there because they didn't work out, and the dude was straight up saying he was gonna take me to Mexico. Like I could have been raised completely different, but it played out like this. So yeah, like I grew up saying I didn't have resentment, but I know I did, and it just made me go, and not think because I didn't have that father figure. I always had the mother figure, but men can't learn that from a woman. Like, as much as she can love you, as much as she can, you know, be there for you, as she should, you know, she's your mother, but you gotta have that man. And, you know, I had a stepfather, but I also have my older brother. You know, we have brothers. We got different daddies. He knew his dad. He would go see his dad, all that. So when this man came, he was like, nah, he ain't my stepdad. And I'm 7 years younger, so I'm just taking whatever big bro was saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like that. But really, now that I think about it, he was the only man that was a father to me for, you know, until he passed away when I turned 18 years old. Oh, he passes away.
That's crazy, because I was just going to ask, like, how were you with the stepdad in the home? But you said the older brother kind of gave him backlash, so you gave him backlash because your brother did. But when you think back on those memories, was he actually a good stepfather to you?
I think he was. I think he was the best stepfather he could be. I don't think there was that real father love that I know I have with my son, but I know he did love me, and I know he did his best. You know what I'm saying? He had a son himself that he didn't even see until the kid was like 16. He ended up coming to live with us because of the mother and him couldn't get along, and she trying to. But I understand all that now. I didn't at the time, but now I went through it myself. You know what I'm saying? So I understand how it can be very hard for a man to be in the child's life if the mother's constantly keeping him away, like just making him jump through hoops and get attorneys and do all this to see a child that they created. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever grow up with any kind of resentment towards your mother in those ways? Because like you said now, you started learning differently as you aged. And potentially, not saying she did or not, she could have been doing your dad like that. You know what I'm saying? We never know. And sometimes everything happens over and over again. So if it happened in our last generation, it'll probably happen in this generation until somebody fixes it. Yeah. So Did you ever have it? Did you ever look at mom a certain kind of way, or was it always like, man, you the one raised me at the end of the day?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, I did. I feel like throughout my life, she kind of chose the men over me and my bro. Like, I mean, even though she was there for us completely, provided, did all that, she worked 2 jobs while me and him just at the, a little 1-bedroom apartment. And so I don't think I resented her at the time, but I think in the back of my mind, I did have a feeling like, man, she always picking the dudes before us. You know what I'm saying? And that was also doing my bro. Like, he was saying that shit too, because he would get in fight. Like, he got in a fight with my stepdad at a young age. He's 16. I'm like 9, 10 years old, and they fighting like for real. And so that's what I'm seeing as a family. You know what I'm saying? This is the only family I've experienced. And yeah, that shit made me have some resentment towards her because I would see, like, even her and my stepdad, they weren't really like, this fool would be in one room and she'd be in the other room. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how they spent their nights. And I'm like, damn, this is like what a marriage is supposed to be. But I guess it was just 2 people that were comfortable. You know what I'm saying? They had both been through bad relationships, whatever, found each other, and they were comfortable. And I get that shit. I get it now. But at the time, I didn't.
And that's the crazy part, man. Especially as kids, like, we don't really understand or recognize what we're observing until we get older. You just said something like they was in 2 separate rooms, but like you look at it now, he could be up there watching football. She'd be down here doing whatever she do, and if that made them happy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to chastise nobody for that because I think a lot of us do the same thing. But so how do you think that watching that a slight resentment from mom and I don't really even know my father. How does that develop you into a man? Because how do you develop into a man with a lack of both?
Right. No, you're perfectly right. Rebellious. I got rebellious. Then I got into the military, like I said, and got in those groups, got in those cliques of the guys that were sergeants, the guys where I wanted to be. And they wasn't doing the right stuff. And they were showing me how to do the wrong stuff. I'm 17 when I joined. My mom had to sign the waiver. And so, yeah, that affected me. Like, getting around the wrong groups, learning the hard way, like I always have.
So let's go post like, okay, how'd that end up? Because how long did you end up staying in?
3 years.
And then military, you left. That was done. What was the transition like?
It was just different. I got out in El Paso and, was with this chick that's from there, grew up there, all that, and she just showing me that lifestyle, bro. And that lifestyle out there is crazy. It's fast. Like, they call that the Little Sin City, like Little Vegas and shit, because they got the military base, they got the UTEP, the college, they got all this different stuff going on out there. Like, it's just, and it's a fast life. And I got introduced to that, and the girl was older, you know what I'm saying? So she was showing me the ropes. And I learned bad stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, just out there in El Paso, moving fast. And
when you say I learned bad stuff, talk to me.
Yeah, like, drugs, they selling drugs, they doing the club thing, they doing all these little, just fast moving, you know what I'm saying? Like 21 years old, fresh out the army, and this girl just showing me the ropes, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like how to make fast cash, basically. Whether that be bartending and having to hustle down there or, just different moves. And they were showing me all of it. And I'm a kid coming from, Weatherford, like I ain't even know stuff like this was going on. And
At this point, had you even considered fighting?
No, not at all. But I was so in the military we did combatives, and they did basically like a little tournament in basic training. And one of the dudes I went against, that dude actually did have like MMA bad. This fool hit me with the cross collar choke like this. You know what I'm saying? Like just bear hug shit on my head. He closed me up. And I'll never forget that. He tagged me out or whatever in the tournament. And I was like, damn, how did you do that? And blah, blah, blah. So then the fool started showing us a little bit of training that he already had because he was training. But this was before MMA was popping. Nobody was really even doing that. It was just coming on the scene. But as far as training, wasn't nobody even knowing how to train really, bro. It was very few and far between. You came up a little bit after that. But back then, it was like hard to learn and stuff like that. So whenever you did find the right people, bro, I'd be like soaking it up. And that fool taught me how to do that choke. Kept on going from there. I did different combative tournaments in the Army and always did good. Like always won most of my matches. If I lost, it was like in the finals or something at the end. You know what I'm saying? But always had a love for that shit, bro. Like,
so coming off of that, like, okay, I'm 21 years old. I'm living a fast life. I know a little bit of martial arts,
yeah,
but I haven't thought of it as a career yet.
Yeah.
Okay, put me in that mindset because now I got to transition from I can't keep living this life right here.
Yeah.
I need better for myself.
Exactly.
So tell me the mindset of getting out of that situation and transitioning into a new situation.
Basically, I had some friends, a couple of really my best homeboy that, I grew up with since elementary school, and his girl, they shot out to El Paso. It was Halloween. They were coming to kick it for Halloween. But, yeah, they seen how it was going down out there, and they were like, yo, bro, you need to come home. Like, this shit you're going to either end up dead or in jail, straight up. And I had already been in jail a few times from fighting, doing dumb shit out there in El Paso. So, yeah, I jumped in the car with him and rode back. And literally like a week later, I was over here at Harry's boxing gym. And Coach D was up in there. James Vick took me over there, took me and my homeboy Fred over there. And yeah, we started straight up training from there. Like boxing training. They wouldn't even let us spar or nothing. We just in there like straight up having to do the drills, do all that for months, run laps around there, all that type of stuff. And that's when, I knew I wanted to do that. Like, I knew I had to get in that ring. And it took years later because, of course, like, life happened, ended up getting in the oil field, getting a job, making good money, but having to travel all the time. So I ain't home enough. So only being able to train when I come home, but lifting weights, stuff like that. I always try to stay in shape, but didn't really get back to the training until later on.
So, Fred, I'm going to go back just a little bit. You said you went to jail out there. Like, was this post-military?
Yes.
So, you ended up you was living a fast life, getting caught up.
Yeah.
Now you get arrested.
Yeah.
What's the mindset? You didn't care at the moment, or you was like,
I didn't care, and I was living fast until I got introduced to that El Paso jail. Because I had, you know what I'm saying? It was a whole different ballgame. These boys, they really about that all the way through. I'm talking about just in regular GP overnight stay. They all, like, everywhere. Like, they really about that. So I got introduced pretty quick, and I already knew. I was like, this just ain't for me. Like, living in a box, doing all this gang shit. I never really been into the whole gang thing. Like, I've had the brotherhoods and stuff like that through training, through different working out and stuff like that. But I never been like, I need a gang to really, make me feel strong. I just never been that type of person. So I think that's where, like, in El Paso, you're going to find out because they all in gangs. They going to jump you. I mean, me and the homie got jumped bad out there. Put a homie in the hospital, broke my ribs, like, messed up the car, everything. So I guess I just got introduced, and I knew I was like, man, this life ain't really going to be for me because I know, like, I'm going to go hard in it, but then I'm going to be institutionalized. I'm going to be in prison my whole life, and I ain't trying to do that.
So you had clarity early because a lot of people get clarity late.
Yeah.
And as you just got through saying, you didn't need gangs to solidify you, and you were sitting up in this jail. And in other terms, in other words, you knew, man, God got something better for me.
Yes.
I want a better life than what I'm living. Your friends came out. They said, okay, let's leave.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back over here.
Yeah.
And you started training mixed martial arts.
Yes.
At that time, were you looking at mixed martial arts as a career or you just wanted to compete?
it was really boxing at first, and I did. I wanted to box, and I did ended up getting in the boxing ring too. But yeah, like it started out just boxing, and then the MMA shit just took over. But like I said, I was homies with James the whole time that he was doing his thing, like before he ever even got in there. So he been telling me, "Hey, go do jujitsu." Hey, and me and this fool, we used to have an apartment together. Me, him, and the other homie. And me and that fool would be wrestling all night, bro. He'd be actually training jujitsu and all that. I'd be like, man, that shit don't work. I'll be rolling with him for hours, bro. He'd be tapping me out and shit, showing me that it works. But yeah, so I just developed that love, bro. It was something to escape. You know what I'm saying? Training has always been something to where I ain't worried about what the hell's going on outside of this. I'm just here. Whatever we doing in here, sparring, drills, whatever, running, working out, whatever we doing, I'm here right now doing that. And that is what really made me get addicted to it,
You just talked about your friendship with Vic, and that kind of led you to martial arts, and y'all was living together, staying together, and actually just competing, even in house, just having fun. Talk to me about friendships in general, man, because it can make or break somebody's life or career. How has friendships from a politicking standpoint or from a positive standpoint changed or directed you?
Friendships are huge. I think they've played a huge role in my life on the choices I made. And I really wish, you can't go back, but you can see and learn from it. And I really wish, I made better choices on the company I kept, because for a long time I just kept anybody around, whoever. And like we were saying earlier, if you're trying to elevate and this person's staying here and they're around you, it's gonna be real hard for you to get up.
How would you encourage somebody has a friend or somebody they cool with them, but they're not willing to elevate with you in a situation where they haven't done anything to harm you? They just not growing at your pace.
I think you should get away from them. I think you should separate. Definitely still be cool, whatever, see them here and there, but I don't think you should be spending a lot of time in stagnant places. If you feel stagnant, if you don't feel valued, that's in a friendship. It don't even have to be that they not trying to elevate, because they could be elevating too in their own path. Mm-hmm. But if you ain't feeling valued, that's the most best word I can say. And that's in friendships, jobs. That's why I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to barber school, because I've seen this profession. I grew up around it. Like I said, my stepdad was cutting my hair in the kitchen my whole life. So I've seen this. And I think I'm naturally doing it because I've been around it so much. And, I've got homies. I had a barber right here in Fort Worth for 10 years. He's the only person to cut my hair. You know what I'm saying? And I hung out with him. We was homies. I seen how he was getting it. And dude opened up 3 more businesses off of doing that for himself, working for himself. And I finally was because I wanted to be a firefighter and all that, but because of my past, it really ain't gonna happen. And for whatever reason, God probably don't have that in store for me, because I know I would be the one running in there, the house burning up, not even thinking twice, trying to save somebody, and maybe, so maybe that ain't the route for me. This one, I know for a fact, it makes me feel good, and you're making other people feel good. They come in there, they ain't had a cut in a while. They feeling raggedy. They feeling low. Boom, they get that cut. They see this help. They look like a whole nother person. They happy. That's the same thing with martial arts. That's why I love it. You can have somebody having the worst day of their life, and I've been that person that was having the worst day of my life. Went to the gym, and all that shit went away. Put that work in with the homies. We doing jits, we striking, whatever. And that whole mentality changed like that, from where you was at your lowest point. You know what I'm saying? You felt like you couldn't, but you showed up to the gym. And then in that 1 hour of training, now you feeling so much better. And that happened to me so many times throughout training. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm addicted to it, because that's like therapy for me,
Man, you just said 2 things in there that it stuck with me. You said you was talking about the lowest point of people's lives, and then you also got through talking about how these you I can tell the passion that you speak with. That man, I'm not sure if it's actually the job that you're doing or if it's just your ability and your heart to want to be able to help people.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm hearing. Like, I want to go to the gym because it's almost a fellowship and I can get this off as therapy. Or somebody can come to me and get a haircut that I'm changing them. I'm making them feel better. Yes. So it might be a longer, a deeper need to what we spiritually supposed to do, and that's help others outside of service ourselves. You're servicing somebody else.
Right.
So I really want you to take that into perspective. Like, whatever you're doing, I don't care what it is you're doing. Mm-hmm. If you're servicing somebody else, I think that's when you are getting the most satisfaction out of it. But I do want to go back to, you said you was able to train even at the lowest points. So let's talk about the lowest points, man. Let's talk about a time where you probably didn't even want to come train. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You didn't want to be able to do nothing, but I won't just say mixed martial arts in general, but having that fellowship, that friendship, that relationship with other people encourage you. Your son ended up passing. Like, what was the mindset like? Did you want to quit everything then? Like, did you want to just like stop and go back? Like, and what kept you from doing that?
I mean, I did. Honestly, for a month straight, I didn't even leave the bed. I was sick, bro. I was sick to my stomach. Just didn't feel myself. And honestly, the gym was the only place that brought me out of that because, I was down low, like darkest I ever been. I never seen something like this happening, and I never thought it could happen to me. You know what I'm saying? And then I get that call. I go through all the shit, and it's like, it took me to a low place to where I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't care. I didn't even want to train. But luckily, it was training. It was having something to look forward to that made me get back up and realize that my son loved this. He loved to watch me fight. It didn't matter. He loved to be in the gym, bro. He grew up in a little car seat carriage. Couldn't even walk watching at the gym. You know what I'm saying? So, that really, that was my saving point. Like, come back to the gym, get your mind back here. And having all those memories with him at the gym and knowing, like, that's what he wants me to do. Like, he wants me to be happy. He knows I love it. He was going to do it, man. He was already wrestling. He was 5 years old, hitting double legs, bro. Like, he's ready. And so that saved me. Like, the gym saved me.
So that day, man, like, you get that fun. Like, I want to, and not too deep, but I wanted to pull through those emotions because I could imagine, a lot of people could imagine, but I also know that other people are going through similar situations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you never know who's watching, you never know who's hearing, whoever needs to hear certain things. So, and this is what goes back to the need to help somebody else, even through our pain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I just kind of want to, like, take me through that day. Like, you get that phone call. Like, that has to be, I can't even imagine that phone call. You know what I'm saying? So, are you sleep? Like, what's going on?
Sleep. It was about 9:50 at night. Just had went to sleep. Phone's going off. Missed the first call. Going off again. Wake up. My son's mother calling me. And she talking normal. She like, everything's okay. But Joey's been shot. But he's okay. That's all she's saying. He's okay. He said that they taking him to the hospital right now. And I guess he was probably towards Lake Worth area. And so the ambulance took him from there to JPS basically. So I'm getting there the same time they pulling up. And I'm in there asking for my son, and they don't even have his name on the thing yet. They bringing him through, and there's 10, people on him, pushing him through on a bed, and I see him there just no response, no reaction, nothing. His mom, she hysterical. She comes through after that. We in the room, And I'm just praying. I'm just praying to God. I'm on my knees, like trying to just ask God to save him. But that wasn't God's plan. And for whatever reason, he had to go to heaven already, and that's.
Man, you just said something, man. And I can kind of vouch for this now because as you know, I lost my child on the day of birth. You know what I'm saying? And I used to ask myself, like, man, why did this happen? Why? And but now I'm starting to recognize, and I also want you to recognize, like, man, he got to go to heaven early. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But now we got to play our part down here to make sure we meet him up there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm saying that to tell you, like, man, we can't see in the future. We can be trying to build, man. We can build barbershops. We can build businesses. Mm-hmm. We can build brands. But at the end of the day, we got to build the kingdom, bro.
Yeah.
Your testimony, what you're saying right now, like, I want you, like, I really, really want to encourage you, like, start reaching people, bro, because you have a story. And that's why I'm talking to you right now. People are hearing what you're saying right now. This is something that you had to overcome.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you wouldn't have been able to do it. Training can do it. It'll help you out because you're getting around people that are more positive and stuff, man. But God got to be able to hear your heart, and they can hear it in your voice when stuff is still bothering you and stuff like that. But bigger than anything, okay, now I got an assignment. Now I gotta walk a straight path because, man, he watching me and he want to catch up to me. He want to make sure I'm meeting him up there. Exactly. He good. Like, my child, he good. You know what I'm saying? They up there. They get to chill. We still walking that journey. We still walking that path, man. I think you got a strong voice. You got a strong personality. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do what you got to do and walk that path, bro. So you get back into training. Mm-hmm. You're able to, like, put it to the side. Not really put it to the side, but you're able to just hold it and get back to, like, regularly scheduled program. But this has to, like, it had to kind of, like, affect you even during training. Like, did you even feel like I'm just going through the motions, or man, I still want to fight?
Nah, man, I was definitely going through the emotions. A few different, emotions was there. Like, just I still love it, of course, and it is like, that freeing stuff, but at the same time, is my heart in it anymore? You know what I'm saying? Do I got it anymore? And all those emotions have ran through, and I've fought since then. I've competed, and I think it's just showing me more that you just got to keep going through everything. One person that I follow very much is Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? And one thing he says is, like, I can't accept failure. So with that, even with my son, like, because I mean, at some point you feel like a failure as a parent, you know what I'm saying, because that happened. And even in the fight game, losing, stuff like that, we get, us fighters, we get down on ourselves, we think we suck, all this. I mean, I've said it, every fighter said it, if they've taken a loss, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's really not. You really not. You a fighter, you push, that's what life is about. That's what God made you to do. I mean, read any part of the Bible, they going through stuff. They not just living happy, all this, everything given to them and perfect. Heck no, they going through trials and tribulations throughout the whole thing. And the main key is to keep that focus on God. Like you just said, yeah, the training helped me, but that's really what got me through it, was God and only God. Like, basically waking up, that's how I changed from actually getting out of bed and going to the gym, because I changed my mentality of why did this happen to me, God? Where's my son? Like, instead of doing that, I wake up and say, thank you, God, for waking me up today. And everything that I went through, I know just made me stronger. So whatever they got to throw at me today ain't got shit on what I already been through. So I'm going to keep on, growing, pushing. And I hope to teach people to do the same. Like, that's really my biggest goal, my biggest plan, is to get the youth, like boxing training, MMA, all this shit I know, but more or less the kids that ain't playing sports, that ain't got the dads, that ain't got the, just tough upbringings, getting in trouble, going to the alternative schools. I want to work with all of them. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be that person in their life that they can see. Like, you can go through a lot of messed up stuff. I lived it.
There's a lot of youths, man. There's a lot of kids out there that
Oh yeah,
that didn't have a dad growing up for whatever reason,
right.
and like you just saying, like you stepping up and saying, "I'll be there for you." You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through that before, and I understand the emotions that you probably going through. Tell me, how has the way you grown up, that defiance, how does that affect your relationships? Because I was the exact same way. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing. Nobody could. And it took me to get married to kind of have to pull back and be like, okay, this is not working. I got to figure something out in my personality that works for not just myself, because a certain mindset is, we don't look at it like that, but it's selfish. Can't nobody tell me nothing that's selfish, because you're only thinking about you.
Right.
Now when you say, yeah, somebody can tell me something and I gotta pull back to make this work for two people. How has like this growth process affected you, especially from start to finish, from post-military to today, affected relationship wise? Because people come and go, we all know, you know what I'm saying? But that growth process has to change. How has it changed you?
Man, it's really changed in the last few years, because I think for a lot of my life, because I had that chip on my shoulder, it did run into my relationships. And like you said, like, I already had that problem with authority. So I'm in a relationship and she's trying to tell me what I need to do. And I'm just like, all right, I'm not going to do what you say. And I did. And I've done that throughout my life. And now I'm learning, like, you gotta stick through it. You gotta look at yourself, really, because a lot of stuff that you mad about what they doing is something inside of you, and you really gotta look in the mirror every day, bro. Because we wake up and we ready to blame these persons and have get angry about the small stuff, and they left it to it, just crazy stuff like that. When in reality, you gotta look at yourself first, man, because it's real easy to point the finger at everybody and be like, oh, you doing this and you doing that. But what are you doing? And how is that affecting the people around you? Are you adding value to the people around you? Are they adding value to you? And if not, you wasting your time, man. Like, you gonna stay stagnant. It's just...
Man, you saying that perfect, man. I got two more questions for you. I want to say, where do you see, because you have a lot going on and you're willing to do a lot, risk taker, because man, I've seen some of these videos that you post, you're doing certain things where you have fun, bro.
Yes,
some of them stuff, a lot of people will be intimidated to do, including myself.
Right.
But I still do it with you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But where does that come from, that risk taking? Like, you're willing to go all out. And lastly, I was going not lastly, but I was going to ask, where do you see yourself and say, from a business standpoint, personality growth standpoint, in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes, sir. So I get that just thrill off of just doing some shit that you should be scared to do. Like, I don't know. A lot of people, when I see them scared to do it, it make me want to do it more. Because I'm like, I don't know, my granny taught me this coming up. She said, you should never fear trying to do something, because 9 times out of 10, somebody already done it. And I've always thought like that. Like, I'm like, man, if he could do it, I could do it. And that's on anything in life. Like, if I see him paint a badass picture, I'm going to think I can do it. I'm just that type of person where I'm ready to go. And I've always been that way. I think with the thrill seeking, jumping off rocks in the water, shit like that, like, it's just that adrenaline rush, man. It's just like jujitsu. It's just like striking, Like, I love boxing. People... But I like getting hit. Not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get there and eat punches, but I like to move and feel them coming at you know what I'm saying? I like to be, it makes me feel alive. And so, yeah, that's why I be doing stuff like that, jumping out of planes. I've done it. And I love it. I'll do it again. Like, and if it don't work out, bro, I guess that's the way I was supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? So, on that note, yeah, that's how that is. And then the last question was...
Where you see yourself in the next
3 to 5 years. I'm really focused on, man, having having some youth, having some training going on with that, a program, hopefully a gym too that I can do it in. I mean, I've already been talking to a few people that really want to get that going. Right now, I just got to focus, get this license. But yeah, in the 5 years, I'll definitely have a business, if not multiple ones. Hopefully under the same roof, man, bringing the youth in, teaching them how to cut hair. You know what I'm saying? Teaching trades, because I think that is very important for the youth, for kids that don't got the daddy, don't got the parents, teaching them about long-lasting longevity on making money, because too many people are so focused on that 9 to 5, living that robotic life, and that's cool. And even cutting hair, you're gonna work for those hours, but I'm saying as far as the job you're doing, do you feel like you are giving value to whatever it is you're doing? Do you feel like it's giving value to you? That's what I'm trying to build, man. I want to have a place where we can get the youth learning all that, bro, because it's out there. Whatever you love to do. People love to do certain stuff. Every job is going to have what it's supposed to. But if you happy, the world's going to be a better place, bro. We ain't going to have the stealing, the killing, all this shit. Because people are really just mad about their everyday life, about these bills, about the everyday stresses. They're not even mad at the person that they killed or steal from. All this. My hope is that the world can really look at each other, bro. We all the same. We all going through shit, you know what I'm saying? And help each other. Stop being against each other. Why are we always against each other? For what? Go against each other in a cage and fight and see, and then squash it. And y'all homies the next day. That's how the world should be. All this stuff, Israel, all this stuff, man, it's uncalled for. And it's all because we thinking about the wrong shit, bro. We thinking about all these people that ain't got no value. They add no value. You talking about presidents, you talking about politics, all this stuff adds no value to your life. Talk about shit that may add value to your life. And there you go.
If you could go back to 16-year-old Joel,
yeah,
you could only tell him one thing, one piece of advice. What would be that advice you give to yourself?
Man, slow down, man. Slow your ass down. Think. I would tell that dude, hey, don't react. Think. And that's what I want to tell these youth, man. That's what I want to teach y'all. Like, I know it hurts. I know y'all feel like nobody cares and you feel like you ain't gonna get where you need to go, but you will. Put your faith in God and do things that you love, man. Go get outside, do things that you love. Don't be all up in the whatever everyone's doing, the little trends and all that, man. Just find what makes you happy and do that shit.
All right, man. So where can they find you one more time?
Yeah.
And especially if somebody want to get a cut,
where
can they reach you? Where can they find
you?
you?
Hit me up on Instagram at Let's Go Chapo, Facebook Joel Guzman, and just hit me on the inbox. I'm cutting up at ASAP Barber College off Granbury Road on the southwest side, and then also at Still on Magnolia Street. Both those places y'all can get at me, come through, man. Get you a cut.
Hey, if y'all got any suggestions for my boy, man, he's like I said, he's building a brand.
Yes.
Y'all come up with some names for him. I want to see the names y'all come up with.
I need some.
All right, man. We're gonna be getting back with y'all, Goose. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Sir.
Appreciate you coming through.
DP.
Hey, this boy came through on Thanksgiving, y'all.
Yes, sir.
That's love right there.
Yeah.
But I'll be getting with y'all soon, man. Y'all know what it is. We'll see y'all next time.
Already, bro.